Hi everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your free update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP today. Bitcoin first. It's falling, but it hasn't made a new low, and this is the low that I expect is reasonably likely to remain intact. This low on 9th of November at 15,682, that's the low I'm confident is going to remain intact. I'm not as confident of this low, but I think there is some technical evidence still stacking up to say that the August 1st, 2023 low is also going to remain intact. There's really strong support here at 29,000. Price is falling with declining volume. The last sessions that are strongest are still upward sessions. ADX is still declining, there's still no clear trend, so using a model of stochastics with support and resistance, I expect after stochastics reached oversold and price reached support, overall an upward swing to stochastics reaching overbought and price to move up to resistance at 31,000. But as I keep saying, and I've said for a couple of weeks, price will not move in a straight line. You'll have some sharp upward sessions and then you'll have a pullback, and then you'll have some more upward and more pullbacks and more upward. It's not going to move in a straight line, but it's approaching really strong support at 29,000, and this could be another back test of support of the channel after the channel was breached. Moving over to Ethereum, it's now breaching its base channel, which I've drawn around minute waves 1 and 2. The Elliott wave count has a third wave at primary degree within a third wave at cycle degree, and in the early stages of that, still within intermediate wave 1. So intermediate wave 1 and impulse with minor 1, 2, minute 1, 2. I've drawn a base channel from the start of 1 to the end of 2. Normally, that provides support in a bull market for lower degree second waves, but that's not the case today. So let's take a look back and see how well do base channels work for Ethereum generally. Going back to 2015, here's a first wave at minor degree, second wave, minute wave 1 and 2, minuet 1 and 2, subminuet 1 and 2. If we draw a base channel around minor waves 1 and 2, it's really clearly breached by quite a lot of downward movement. This happens when third waves particularly have that slow start with lots of overlapping first and second waves. They accelerate through the middle and they explode at the end. So because of that slow start, these base channels don't always work. So a breach of the base channel is not a deal breaker. The Elliott wave count could still be entirely valid. Let's see if we can find some examples in Ethereum where the base channel did work. Going back to the low from 6th of December 2016, here's a good example of how a base channel worked. This was first wave at intermediate degree. Within a third wave here, within intermediate wave 3, the base channel around minor waves 1 and 2 was breached by some small range daily candlesticks before price moved back in it. So this example, the base channel mostly worked, but not perfect. We could be seeing something similar happen at the moment. Within primary 5 of cycle wave 1, around intermediate 1 and 2, I've drawn this base channel, and this worked as price quite quickly breached it, found support and remained well above it for the rest of that movement. So this base channel worked. Another first wave here, intermediate wave 1, here's the base channel around minor waves 1 and 2. This worked, although not perfectly, to show where price found support. It didn't breach the base channel. Another example of a base channel that did work around minor waves 1 and 2. The third wave breaches the base channel, finds support at the upper edge, and the fifth wave shoots away for a strong end. So this example of a base channel also did work. So sometimes they work. But so far, the current base channel around minute waves 1 and 2 is not working to show where micro 2, if this is micro 2, may be finding support. So a review of base channels for Ethereum shows that they work sometimes and they don't work sometimes. So a breach of the base channel is not a deal breaker. It's annoying because now we don't have a trend line that's working for support. And I'm just going to focus on support here at 1,800. It's quite strong. We do still have a bullish candlestick reversal pattern. Price broke this channel that contained the pullback on an upward session, which had support from volume. And now we're seeing a decline in volume and mostly a decline in range, moving down to test support at 1,800. Price is falling with declining volume again. Recent upward sessions have strongest volume. For Ethereum though now, we have a downward trend indicated in a relatively early stage, but I want to see that support at 1,800 broken before I'd really have good confidence in that. There's a long way for RSI and money flow to reach oversold. So if there is a downward trend, it could have a long way to go. But for Ethereum, I think it's most likely that this Elliott wave count is the best, highest probability scenario I can see. I'm still going to expect an impulse overall to continue higher for intermediate wave 1. I have some confidence, probably at 60-40 confidence, that minute wave 2, this low, is going to remain intact, but it could move lower. And if it does, it may not move below 1074.40. That is my bottom line for Ethereum. I don't expect that low to be breached. The situation for XRP is a little bit more bearish, and I've had a big question mark about this low, and it's now been exceeded. So I wasn't confident in that low. It has now been exceeded, and I did say that previous support at 62 cents was relatively weak, but we do have really strong support below at 55 cents. I'm going to adjust my channel for XRP for this pullback to be even more conservative. I'm going to draw it from this low to this low and extend it on out. I'll look for support at the lower edge of this channel, and when this channel is breached by upward movement, then I'll have strong confidence that a low is in place for XRP. Price is falling with declining volume. This is absolutely normal behaviour for a counter-trend movement in a bull market. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend for XRP. So using a model of stochastics with support and resistance, we expect stochastics reached oversold here, now to move through neutral to reach up to overbought, and for price overall to continue on up to resistance, possibly 82 cents. The problem with that model though is it's a little bit vague. Support and resistance can be overshot before price moves back into the consolidation, and stochastics can move to neutral and then return back to overbought or oversold before starting a proper swing all the way through neutral to the other end. It's a general guideline, not an absolute, that model. I'll be looking out for possibly a little bit more downward movement for XRP to reach support about 55 cents, and let's see if it can end on a session with an increase in volume like we saw here and like we saw here. So initially price falls with some declining volume, and at the end when it finds a low and we're about to see a bounce, we see an increase in volume. Now that's happened here and here and here. That told us we were going to get a bounce. It happened here and then we got a bounce. If we see that happen again, then we'll expect a bounce, and how price behaves when it bounces hopefully is going to start to tell us some clues as to whether or not XRP's finally found its low. But I think it's most likely to continue falling now to about 55 cents before this deeper pullback is complete. There was always going to be a reaction to this very strong upward session, but volume and range are to the upside, volume and range not supporting downward movement. This looks like a counter trend movement. The only question is when and where is it going to end? I'm looking at 55 cents now for XRP. That's it from me with your free analysis today, and I just want to remind you that our most recent new analysis service on the website pureelliottwave.com is Gold Daily Analysis, and as this GIF shows you, in the last several weeks it's been remarkably accurate. It's not perfect, but we're getting some of these little bounces, and overall we're getting it right when we're getting some strong downward movement, and that's what's been happening. So if you had been using our daily gold analysis, you probably would have been able to profit from this quite substantially. So click on the link below, it'll take you through to our website and you can check out the daily gold analysis. We publish 5 times a week with a video every Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and like, subscribe and comment to help my little YouTube channel grow.